Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. In this video, I'm going to tell you the story about Jerry, which is the name I'm going to use for the purpose of this video. Now, Jerry's wife, Beth, and I worked together for a long time. Jerry has never cooked for his entire life. However, something changed in his life. That he changed and he now become a cook, that he cooks literally every single day. In fact, the dish that I'm going to demonstrate in this video is a dish that Jerry cooked quite often. So I'm going to demonstrate how this dish is cooked to give you as an example. And at the end of this video, I will explain to you why Jerry made that change. Okay, so let's get into the kitchen, see what we could do. The first thing I did after I entered the kitchen is to get some beef from the freezer and I put it in a sink with some warm water to thaw out. Each time when I purchase beef from the supermarket, usually I purchase on sale, I will cut them up and I put them in Ziploc sandwich bag. And I will pack them in such a way that when I need them, I can thaw them out in about 10 minutes. This gives me a lot of flexibility. This way, I can eat beef anytime I want. Next, I'm going to make a teriyaki sauce for this dish. I begin with half cup of water. I start out with 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, and this is followed by using 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. The soy sauce is critical for create the characteristics of this teriyaki sauce. The light soy sauce to provide saltiness and the dark soy sauce because of its color provide coloration to the dish. I then add half tablespoon of sesame oil. Sugar is an important component of the teriyaki sauce. Here I add 2 tablespoons of sugar, but you can add more or less depending on your choice. To thicken the sauce, I'm going to add 1 heaping tablespoon of cornstarch. This is followed by adding 1 tablespoon of distilled vinegar to give the tanginess to the dish. To provide a slight kick to the dish, I add half teaspoon of paprika followed by 1/4 teaspoon of ginger powder. This will give the dish a slight spiciness, but not very much, but that's very characteristic of the teriyaki sauce. This is my basic teriyaki sauce template, and I quite often make changes along the way. I would taste it and to decide whether it is what I would like. I practice advanced prepping. I always have my ingredients mostly ready when I cook during the weekdays. So all I need to do is to gather them from the refrigerator. The first thing I find is some white mushroom that I have cut into thin slices. I will use this white mushroom over the course of the week. Next, I found some yellow pepper. And then I found some orange pepper as well. I like the peppers with colors because they provide some interesting color that I can add to the dish. By this time, the beef is ready. I'm going to coat the beef with cornstarch. The cornstarch will protect the beef against the heat during stir fry. It will keep the beef moist and tender. It took me about 15 minutes to get everything ready, and now I am ready to cook. A number of viewers has asked me why I always use my stainless steel wok. The reason is that I like the appearance of the wok and it gives a good camera presentation. I can clean it easily so that it can look shiny and pristine. For the same reason, from personal standpoint, I really like this wok as compared to other type of wok with natural surfaces. When I use my spot seasoning method, I have very little problem in keeping it non-stick. When I add the beef to the wok after the oil has been heated up, you notice that the beef tend to stick to each other. This is because of the cornstarch. So what I do is that I use a pair of tongs to separate them. I noticed that when I cook, certain food just tend to stick to the surface of the wok, no matter how well you season the wok. And beef is one of those food ingredients. As you can see, that is already start to stick and burn to the surface of the wok. You might say, well, is it because due to the cornstarch? No, actually it's not the case, because I can do the same thing cold chicken or shrimp, but they will not stick to the bottom of the wok. So I now switch to my wok spatula, because it allows me to use as a scraper to detach whatever that might have burned and stick to the bottom of the wok. In less than 30 seconds, the beef is cooked. I cook them to about slightly over medium rare. For me, this is the best texture of the beef. I'm going to set them aside and then combine it with the dish a little bit later. I'm going to cook the vegetable next, and I'm not going to wash the wok. I'm going to show you later how I'm going to clean it during, in fact, when I cook. So I add the colored pepper first to the wok. This is then followed by adding the mushroom. A mushroom has the capacity to pick up oil. As you can see that now the wok looks pretty dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more oil so that the food ingredients will be covered with oil to help them to achieve the Maillard reaction. At this point, you notice that the bottom of the wok has things burned to it. So I'm going to solve this problem by using my squeezed water bottle to add water directly to that area. I then use my wok spatula. As you see that once the water hit the surface of the wok, it dissolves those burnt particles readily, and the wok spatula is able to detach them very easily. I find this method extremely useful when you cook in a wok with things burned to the bottom of the wok. I call this spot cleaning because you clean whatever that is burned right at the spot. I find that dissolving those burnt materials into the sauce actually creates better flavor for the dish. Cooking this part of the dish takes less than a minute because I do not want to cook them too much. So next I add the sauce that I prepare into the wok. You want to make sure that you stir the content of the sauce well because the cornstarch has a tendency to settle to the bottom of the container. At this point, I turn the heat to low. You can see that the cornstarch to start thicken readily. The heat will cause the cornstarch to thicken the sauce. The longer you heat it, the thicker the sauce will become. So you can control how thick the sauce you want to have by adjusting the amount of time that you stir fry it. At this point, the cornstarch has reached the thickness that I like. So I add the beef to the wok and mix it together with the vegetables. Make sure you shut off the heat before you add the beef. Now, if you use an electric range, you should move the wok to the kitchen counter. I'm very fussy with the texture of my beef, and I do not want to overcook them. The total cook time of this dish is slightly under 5 minutes. The reason I cook the beef and the vegetables separately because this will give me better control of the texture of these food ingredients. Lastly, I garnish the dish with some scallions, and dinner is served. I cooked this dish for my wife and I the other night, and it was just enough for 2 of us. Because of its heavy gravy, it goes very well with rice. This is a dish that Jerry cooks quite often, and he used a basic template and he makes modifications to create different versions. Jerry's life changed dramatically in his mid-50s when he was diagnosed with late-stage prostate cancer. After he gone through surgeries and chemotherapy, he still need to stay on medications probably for the rest of his life. He then found out that by changing his diet, he might be able to get off this medication and keep the cancer in check. And one of the major changes that Jerry should take in his lifestyle is to adopt a vegetable-centric diet. This is when Jerry became interested in my cooking system. He started initially reluctantly. However, one aspect of my cooking system Jerry really liked is advanced prepping. Now, Jerry is an engineer for our local water department, so he is an organized and methodical person. He really takes to advanced prepping. He loved organize all the ingredients in the beginning of the week so that he and his wife could use it to cook. Now they cook together every night using all fresh and unprocessed ingredients from scratch. Jerry is not the only example that I have for people who choose to adopt my fast cooking system because of the significance of its health value. However, they all told me that they enjoyed the process as well. They really like the creative aspect as well as the template-based cooking. With his dietary change, Jerry is now completely off his medication and he is doing really well. And one day he told me that because of the fast cooking system, he's probably going to live into his 90s. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time.